name is Bani Duggal, and I represent the Baha'i international community to the United Nations. And we're delighted to have Dr. Augusto Lopez-Claros here with us, and he's going to talk to us about the global financial crisis and its implications for global governance. Dr. Lopez-Claros has a long experience of working in this area. He's an economist and got his PhD from Duke University in the United States, and was a professor of economics at the University of Chile, and was the resident representative for IMF in Russia. He's worked at Lehman Brothers, and it's pretty much the anniversary of Lehman's demise, so I guess we'll have some perspectives on that, I'm sure. But he's also served as chief economist at the World Economic Forum, and he currently has his own consulting company called Global Consulting Network, which is advising governments and private corporations on economic, financial, and development issues. So I'm going to turn it over to Augusto.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Do let me know if you cannot hear me at the other end of the table. I'll speak up a little bit louder. Alternatively, you could move in a bit closer. It's, the choice is yours. There has been a lot of soul searching in the last year or so against the background of the international financial crisis about the sustainability of our economic system. You will remember the debate some 20 years ago at the time of the falling of the Berlin Wall about how this very powerful combination of a free market and a liberal democracy had actually brought about huge increases in trade and investment during the post-war period, and had led to a fairly robust rates of economic growth, and along the way a very remarkable improvement in standards of living. Well, you haven't heard very much of that particular debate, which had a certain sense of triumphalism about it during the last year. In fact, the crisis has really dampened our spirits, and it has led to all kinds of sort of very introspective thinking about the system, the financial system. Let me just share with you a couple of stray thoughts from the press, actually. There is a very well-known, highly regarded economist at Yale University by the name of Schiller, Robert Schiller. And he wrote a piece in the Financial Times a few months ago, actually a bit more, in March of this year, where he said the following. He said, the capitalist economies, left to their own devices without the balancing of governments, are essentially unstable. In fact, I don't know whether you saw, but the Financial Times in March had a long series of articles on the future of capitalism. And in the starting piece, they said that with confidence shaken in the markets, it is quite important to ask, where do we go from here? And one of the persons that they invited to write a piece for this series of articles was Amartya Sen, an Indian economist, a very, one of the perhaps deepest thinkers on some of these issues. And he said a couple of things. He said the question that arises most forcefully is not so much about the end of capitalism as about the nature of capitalism and the need for change. And then he went back to The Wealth of Nations, this book by Adam Smith that is very much regarded as perhaps as providing the intellectual foundation for the market economy. And Sen said the following. He said that in The Wealth of Nations, Adam Smith talked about the important role of broader values for the choice of behavior, as well as the importance of institutions. And then he went back to an earlier work of Adam Smith called The Theory of Moral Sentiments, in which I'm quoting Sen, he, that is Adam Smith, extensively investigated the powerful role of non-profit values. And here there's a kind of a nice little nugget. Adam Smith said that prudence was, of all virtues, that which is most helpful to the individual.